Hey guys, so today I thought I would share something interesting. I've had a couple of interesting experiences happen to me in life, and I'm thinking of one specific occasion where, so I graduated from university, right? And um, Shell, the company I work for, had this program where you would go to a training school and you would be paid a very small stipend for a year. And after, you had gone through the training program, you'd be interviewed after 1 year, mind you. And if you were successful at that interview, they would give you a job. Okay. Now, the way it works in my country is when you graduate from university, you have to go spend 1 year serving the country, different parts of the country. The intention is for integration, so you get to know how other parts of the country lives, different tribes, cultures, in the country. And many of my classmates applied for the Shell program. And I just felt it was dumb, because I was like, why would I go spend a year earning a small stipend when I could, you know, get a job in that same time frame? It didn't make any sense to me. I just felt like it was exploitation. Now, for those of you who don't know, I was brought up in a very Christian home, and as a young person, I spent quite a bit of time praying and studying the Bible and all that. And it was kind of like a rule of mine then, and even now to a great extent. Uh, I may not yell and shout as much as I used to when I was young, you know, but I do, take time to meditate and just try to listen within and hear what's being said on the inside when I want to take decisions. The point is, when it came to this, I was working from here, and I just said to myself, this doesn't make any sense. Why would I go spend a year doing this? Now I remember where exactly I was when what happened. I'm about to tell you happened. I was coming down the bridge. I was walking, down the bridge, going to a bus stop, just walking down. And I just heard, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't like a voice. It was kind of like an impression, And what it basically felt like it said to me was, you always said you were going to work for the number one oil company in this nation. You always said that. And the backstory to that was, when I was in university, I always used to make this affirmation that I was going to work for the best oil company in the country. At that time, I didn't even know what the oil companies were. I just used to make that affirmation in university. And so this impression just came on me as I was walking down the bridge, that you always said that. So why don't you apply for the training program? And when it just came like that, I realized that I hadn't even taken time to meditate and pray, if you will, about my decision not to go for this, 1 year training program. And this was almost a year after my cousin and my dad had tried to persuade me to do this. So, a long story short, I decided to apply, and I was accepted. Interesting. That's a different story. The process of getting acceptance into the program was another story of its own. Um, but what I want to bring out is what happened during the 1 year training program. I spent what 5 years in university studying engineering, right? It was nowhere as tough as the 1 year I spent in this training program. It wasn't, because we had exams every week. We had like 4 or 5 exams every Saturday, and every I think it was every 3 months or so, every 4 months, your performance was reviewed, and if you weren't doing well, you got kicked out of the program. So people lived in a state of constant fear, and I thought I was a pretty smart guy, but at a point I really started getting concerned, because there were some subjects that I felt I was excellent at that I wasn't getting. I was getting good grades, but I wasn't getting the excellent grades I expected. So I was getting a little bit worried. And then it struck me that this whole thing I was doing, the whole reason I was here was because I had gotten instruction from here. the path I was now treading, the things I was now doing was because I had gotten guidance from here. Something had told me that this was what I needed to do. So, in spite of the trouble, in spite of the challenges, I stuck with it. And I knew I was going to make it to the end. And I knew I was going to be selected at the end of the program. Even though I wasn't necessarily like the top five, but I just knew. And the reason I knew was because I remember going down that bridge and hearing or getting that impression that this is what I needed to do. The reason I'm sharing this with you is when it comes to a point where you need to take a decision in your business, take time. I mean, don't just take the time to listen. And for those of you who are having a spiritual practice, pray, meditate, get the inner guidance. It's critical because if you don't have this, when you start on this journey, when you invest in your business, and you will have challenges. It's a normal and expected thing. If you don't think you're gonna have challenges, you're living in la la land. You're gonna have challenges. Things are not gonna work out exactly the way you think they should or you expected them to. They will not go according to plan. You're gonna need this. You're gonna need that conviction that you heard, that that you were stirred right. You need that inner conviction. So don't operate from here. I mean, it's good to think things through. It's good to figure stuff out. Learn to operate from here. Because when you operate from here, I don't know how to explain it, but if you've experienced it in your life, I'm sure you have. If you've been alive for at least 15 or 20 years, you must have. Think about the times where you operated from here, where something from the guts, gave you that, like, look, it's jittery, but go ahead and take the leap. Because when things get tough, that's going to be your point of reference. So here I am, 15 years later, still working for the company, doing great, prospering, and the opportunities that it has opened up for me. I mean, if not for that company and being able to work there, I'm not sure I would even have an online business today. It helped me get, into the online business in its own way. So take the time, meditate, get away, from a lot of the distractions, get away from here. Because sometimes when you try to figure everything out in your head, it gets in the way. Your head gets in the way. Work from here. Work from here. It's not just the feeling of fear of being jittery. It is a conviction like this is going to work. This is what I'm looking for. I mean, there is a resonance that you felt while you're doing your training, like, yes, this is what I've been looking for. Like, my mind is expanded. I'm seeing the things now that has stopped me in the past, the things that didn't let me achieve the results I wanted to achieve. And once you feel that resonance, it's time to set aside this. Because if you try to figure out everything with your mind, you're not going to do stuff. Operate from here and see the transformation that you're expecting. Leave from here and experience, that transformational journey that you're really looking for, that can help you achieve the goal that you want to achieve in life. All right. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.